Hello guys, my name is Maduabu Chachilefu, a mentor on Android Track. I was told to do a tutorial on the practice projects we are given and in Java. I actually did my project in Kotlin and I've also submitted. Someone else is doing the tutorial, same tutorial on Kotlin. So this is just a walkthrough, a solution to the practice project. It is not Java fundamentals. So you're expected to know Java fundamentals. So we just go straight to, I have already done it. We just to walk you through how it was implemented. So those important points are the ones I will highlight. Okay, we start by creating a new project. You go here, new project, we know how we do it. Empty project next. In this language, you choose Java, not Kotlin. So click finish. Once your project is created, you go straight to this. Then the things we will need, the dependencies or libraries we will use, look at them. I added this because I'm using Java 8 and also I want to make use of other features, cool features in Java 8 and including Lambda. Now I'm using Glide instead of Picasso. One of the reasons is that Picasso is no longer under maintenance and Glide is very active. Maintenance group are very active. Now, I'm using version 4. This is for image loading and caching. I'm using version 4, and because I'm using version 4, I'm adding this annotation processor. Okay. Here I have Volley. Volley does the same thing with retrofit. I prefer to use retrofit or in all my projects, but I just decided to add Volley here to also inform us that we can do the same thing with Volley. But retrofit is preferable. I will also advise you to use retrofit. Even I think Google guidelines also recommends this retrofit. So we are using, this is life cycle. Okay, this is life cycle. We also have two versions of this retrofit. We have JSON converter. What this does is converting data, Java objects to JSON, and they can also convert JSON to data objects in that order. That's what it does. So we are using RecyclerView, we are using material, we are using CAD view. So these are our dependencies. We just add them. Okay, we use them in the project. Then the next thing you will do is go here. This is very important parameter that you add, because without it we won't be able to interact with the web service or server. It means that will be interacting over the net and we run into problems with our code. So we just go straight here. Now this is data, data source. Your data source could be locally, maybe from room. It could also be remotely using this retrofit library. Now, and we know here in this project we are getting our data remotely, and that's why we have this. In retrofit, this is how we implement this. This is the base URL, and that's what you put. Okay, this is base URL. So the endpoints, look at the endpoints here. It's simply, if you want to have the complete URL, this is it. But this is not a recommendation for using retrofit, so we are not gonna do this here. So we just remove it. Then I created a singleton class here. Now before I go to this singleton class, this is how you build your retrofit. You create your retrofit here using new. This is a way of creating an instance of a class in Java. Another way is this way, factory method. Okay, this factory method where there is no new. You can't see any new here, but we see new here. So this is your base URL. This is where I add this add converter factory. What this actually does is to convert the JSON from data objects to JSON or from JSON to data object. This is what this does. So at the end of the day, you now put build. Okay. So this is post interface. The reference to this is a reference to this post interface class. Okay. So this is a singleton class. Singleton here, static. static because we don't want to create the instance of the class when instance of this class when we are calling this method get instance. So if it is null, you can actually flip through. Let's put it this way. If the instance, okay, is null, the same thing as null, then we need this, create this object, create a memory for this post client in the memory. Allocate a memory for this, and this is the essence of this new. Then return the instance. So we have this call. We are passing this. We want to return the skill IQ, which is our model class, our data class, a code that is all about our data. Then I want to have it as a list. This list. Then I'm passing the module. Look at the module here. This is it. So I'm passing it here. As it's coming back to me as a list. Okay. Then we have the same thing here for get top skill. We also have the same thing here, get top learners. So the same thing is done there. So we go to this. Now this is my data. Okay. We have what we call architecture. And in Android architecture, we have MVC, then a model view controller. We have model view presenter. We also have MVVM, which we actually use here. Okay, we use MVVM here, but we did not add the other part of repo. We just added the code. We didn't have a particular folder or a particular file we call our repo here. So that's just the difference. Now, where we have model view, then view model, which is recommended by Google guidelines and the Google project team. Now, this is our data. Then how we create it is very simple. This thing, Android can help us achieve it very fast. Where I want it to be, these are after declaring your variables private. Okay, I want the constructor to be. I'm using Mac. I will click Command N. So I have my constructor. I will just highlight all of them, all the variables. Then, boom. Look at it, very simple. The same thing, I want my setters and getters to be the next line. So I will press Command N. The same thing, getters and setters. Then I will highlight all of them. Then, boom, you have it. Then if I want to log the information, or maybe to the logcat, Android logcat, I can also add to string method. So N. So I will go here and click, I highlight all of them, then boom, you have it. So this is how the data module, this is how the data or the module, this is how we get it from that MVVM. The M there is data, this module, which is this particular one here. Okay, then so we did the same thing, so we are not going through that again. We have skill, the tabs. Okay, the tabs you see, these are the tabs. These are the tabs. Look at the tab, learning data and skill IQ. These are the tabs. Okay, so these are the tabs. These are the tabs. Look at them now. These are the fragments. We implemented them as fragments. This is the. If you go through them, if you see this fragment skill IQ, you see the associated XML files. All these are here. Then, very important. This is our data view model. This is our view model, data view model. So what happens here is that this is where we get our data. Okay. If you look at the architecture, the Android architecture, if you look at it, you will see fragment or activity, getting is information from view model. And this is what we have here. And in that view model, you have live data. Okay. Before you get to repo. And that repo now, before you get to where you're getting your information, is it remotely talk about this through fit of Volley and all that, using Volley to interact with the server. Then if you are using locally, if you're getting information on your data locally, you talk about room. Okay, and that's the most used now. Now, this is how to create your data model, data view model. This is it. Then you have this. You create the instance. For this particular one, this is view model. This is how to instantiate your view model. Look at it. Data view model. View model provider. This is talking about this particular fragment. Okay, get data view model dot class. This particular fragment, okay, it could be an activity which is the lifecycle owner. It could be also this fragment now. Now this is it. This is it. You go through. This is adapter, very important, because we can't paste our information on the recycler view. We must place it on data and adapter. Then on that adapter, we now be able to plug it onto our recycler view, and this is why we have this adapter here. So information we cannot directly paste it on the recycler view. We first of all paste it on the adapter before we plug it onto the recycler view. Now, this is for that. This is for the top learner fragment. The same thing here. I go through it. You see the same thing. Then we use our constant. This particular one, I just use it because I'm making use of volley for my posting or for my sending the information or the form out. So that's why. So in retrofit, remember, we don't do this kind of thing in retrofit. The endpoint, you don't add it to the base URL, but this is the full URL. We want to use it to implement that of volume in submission. Now, this is the data model we just talked about. Okay, in view model, we have the view model, that view model which we extend, which is the view model. Look at it, we extend. That view model has live data, and this is the live data. This is how they declare it. That's why it's getting this information. Now, mutable live data list. This is coming as a list. I pass this skill IQ, which is our model class. Then new mutable live data. Okay, the same thing here. I did it for the same thing here for top learner and also for skill IQ. These are the methods to get, like, when you want to retrieve information. When you want to retrieve, we use this one to retrieve the information. Okay, using that, we use this to get information from the server. This is response. So what comes out if, for instance, your response, let's add this code here. If response is successful, if your response is successful, we set the value response.body. Okay, if it is not, you just log out, maybe log D. We just log out the information here. So a T, I can just create a new throwable. You pass in the variable or the instance. You just pass in the T. The same thing. We want to know what happens on this top skill, so I can just add get. I know that it happened in this method, top skill. So the same thing here, so that when it happens, I know that if there is any failure, if there is any error, it couldn't send, then I'll get the information. I know that it's coming from this get top skill. The same thing here. Okay, if the response is successful, we can just add if response successful, then give me this. Okay, then the same thing here, we can just say log D. I can use this in straight. That's another way of using, instead of saying new throwable and passing the to T argument. Then you can say T dot to string. You can just convert it to string to give you the information. Then I am using this in on get what do you call it? Get top learner. Okay, get top learner, so that if anything happens here, I know that the problem is coming from get top learner. Okay, this is it here. So we go to main activity. This is where we couple all our view pager and the tabs. Sorry, these are the pages. Okay, these are the view pages. Okay, these are the tabs. When you click on this tab, you have this. You click on this tab, you have it. This is how to couple them. This is how to couple them. We just go through it. It's something we have been doing. You know it very well. So the lambda, if you check, this is lambda. If you want to, you can, that version, Java 8 we are using. One of the beauty of it is that one of the features is lambda feature, which enables you to shorten your code. Okay, if you see now, my code is shortened. Okay, Now another thing we did here is all these codes. What I used to do animation. It's not necessary you can remove it if your this thing will still work. I just use it for animation. All this from here, then inside from here. After this one, you now here also. These are the codes I just use for the animation. This is what happens when you click. If you use it on a real device, you will be amazed how it works. It's a circular review. If you click here, it will just go in circular form. Then boom, you now see your result. Then it is just what I did here. Then this is a fragment name. So all the fragments you see are those tabs. These are the learning leader, skill IQ. This is how to implement it. We have two. We have 0 and the 1. When it is 1, give me this. When it is when it is 0, sorry, give me this. When it is case 1, give me this. Then that is it. Then get count. This gives me the number of count, which is 2. Okay, 0 and the 1, 2 counts. This is the position. Get page title. That's what it does. Then let's go to this is the adapter. The adapter, one of the importance of adapter, I've said it, is that you can't plug your information when you retrieve it from the internet onto your RecyclerView. No, it must pass through adapter. You will place it on the adapter. It's from the adapter now you plug it onto your RecyclerView, and this is what happens. This is one of the important methods of this adapter on bind view holder, where you have this. We have all this. Just go through the code, you understand. If you don't get it, get in touch with me. I will explain in details. This is where I use my glide with contest. You see why I declare this contest here? This is where I declare the contest, okay, to be able to use it. You know, this is adapter. It's not an activity. So since a contest is a class, okay, that's why I was able to declare it here, then declare it here, then use it here. Then load this, you see the code and all that. But without me declaring, remember, if I'm calling it on the main method, I have to supply the activity or the fragment, otherwise the code will not run. Then let's go to the same thing I did on this top learners adapter. I'll come to this submit later. Then welcome screen. This welcome screen, like I said, this is where this is another code in addition to the one I showed you on the main method. Okay, this additional code to make that circular review. You can remove it and put any other thing off. You can just play with it. This lambda, again, I've seen a place I can also use my lambda, you know, to reduce the length of the codes. Okay, then let's come here. Here is very important. I use volley here. Like if you, okay, let me just show you something here. This I use retrofit to do this here. Like getting, we have either post or get and other methods, but this is basically the annotation we want. Use this annotation, get. You want to retrieve information from the internet or from server, this is you use at get. If you want to send, you use post at post annotation. That's what you use to push or send something to the internet. If you want to retrieve, and this is why we use this get. I use this get API hours. These are the endpoints. Which endpoint? These are endpoints. Now let's go to this submit quickly. This submit I use like what I just told you initially. I use volley here, okay, to do the submit. The volley I use, if you go through the code, you will see, and that was why we're able to implement this thing this way. The constants. This is how, you know, full URL. But it's not like that in retrofit. So this thing now, this is all they look at it here. This method, we pass it here and supply all the data. This is post data. We are posting it to the internet. Okay, go through it. This dialog, when you just click here, so submit, this is the one that comes first. So this is this is when you just come here, you say submit, you have this. Okay, so this is the tutorial. If you have any question, please let me know. I will be able to answer you very well. And submit, then I click here. I'm not putting anything. You can put a submit, we go. Then if it fails, Are you sure you want to? Yes, said yes. Then what happens is that it will fail actually because I didn't provide any information. But if you provide any information, try it. Okay, let me just put something. Your name, your last name, whatever, gmail.com, whatever is your .com. Then I'll put the project, maybe https colon then github.com slash project. What your project link is, project. Then if you click, this thing will actually go. I'm submitting it now. It will go, yes. It will give me a success, yes, submission successful. Then please, this is the end of this tutorial. If you don't understand it, please let me know. I'll give you details of it. I will just explain to you in details. For now, let's call it a day. Thank you very much.